Uber one rental at a time. Let me just slide this out here. I get that sign all made up and I got to make sure it's in the shot. Anyways, this is your daily financial news. I think it is February 11th, Friday, February 11th. I hope you're having a wonderful day and you're set up to have a wonderful weekend. Couple of quick things. Let's first congratulate Melanie. Melanie, congratulations for getting your deal done. Your card will go out in the mail. Folks, if you don't know what this is a card that I send to anyone who says that one rental at a time helped them. Maybe it's this YouTube channel, maybe it's the book, maybe it's the course, whatever it is. If I helped you in any way, I want to make sure we send you a card because I'm trying to figure out what is my positive impact of spending a couple of hours creating content for you 7 days a week. So let me know if we've helped you in any way. So next up, I want to let you know about a couple of important videos that went out yesterday. First and foremost, the 40-year mortgage. A lot of you have asked, what do the three amigos think about the 40-year mortgage? And we all had different opinions. Dion, for example, is like, give me as much 40-year money as I can. This is all about cash flow. I don't care about paying off my properties. Matt talked about, or the lumberjack talked about, hey, pretty good for investors, probably going to hurt owners, right? Because you're not building that safety net that first 10 years. And then for me, I was apprehensive. I mean, I certainly get Dion's excellent point, and you'll see in the video where he kind of brought me over to that side, but I see a lot of bad decisions, right? I guess that's my hesitation. I talk about learning your market, learning yield, doing all of those things, right? Doing the work. My fear, and I brought it up in the video, is you have done the work. Then you establish a yield of 6% or 8 or 10 or whatever average is for you. Then you look at this fancy new 40-year product, you throw it in your spreadsheet, and your yield explodes. My fear and apprehension is bad deals will get done because you will be comparing apples, 30-year money, with watermelons, 40-year money. If you are going to do the work and you're going to leverage 40-year money, your job does not change. I am afraid some people will use 40-year money to not do the work, because if you move fast, you can get an artificial jump because you're using different cost structures. And then lastly, owners, I agree. It doesn't allow for a safety net to be built very quickly, and we may be locking people into homes. So again, great conversations yesterday. Next up, more and more people are joining the channel, realizing that daily financial news is different. We talk about every day what is going on that day, and we move on to the next day. We don't look at minute-by-minute charts. We don't look at any of this stuff. We talk about what is important to you and me in the market. And I have been running pretty hot with expectations, CPI readings, inventory, things of that nature. More and more people are asking, what do you think? When will prices come down in my market? Folks, real estate is not quite like stocks or crypto where it will be instantaneous. This is a train that takes a while to slow down. What you need to watch, in my opinion, is not interest rates. It is the rate of change. For example, if we got to 6% 30-year money, owner OC, by, say, December of 2025, it's just a slow, gradual increase. Buyers will adjust, sellers will adjust, the market will be just fine. However, if we rocket to 6% 30-year money by, say, Halloween of 2022, watch out, transactions fall, business environment changes, nasty recession. Yes, you could have price decreases. So again, if you're following my channel, one rental at a time, all of the experts we bring you every week, what I want you to do, get your buy box, track your buy box. You are going to know first when your market might be changing. All you have to do, type buy box, look every day and see when inventory increases. And my belief is it will. Q1, consumer behavior takes over. People who miss the bottom on rates but still want a home are rushing off the sidelines. It is bonkers today. I believe as rates go up, it will slow down and we will finally see what is going on in the real estate market. I do not expect a crash. I do expect less transactions. If you are in the real estate business and paid commission, whether you're a mortgage broker, real estate agent, an inspector, whatever, you better get your Rolodex going, build your network, all of those things, because I think we could easily see 1 million transactions fall. That is a big takeaway from when interest rates shot up in the early 80s. Interest rates went up 1,000 basis points. Prices did not fall because wages went up, but transactions were cut in half. So again, you want prices to fall. I get it. I don't think you're going to get it. You're going to get transactions falling. But here's the deal. If you do the work like we talk about it, one rental at a time, and you're looking every day, you will find the motivated seller. You will create a great deal. And yes, you will likely get a discount. Too many people are looking for the market to crash. The market is not going to crash. If the average home today is 365 or whatever it is, it likely doesn't move. But if you're doing the work every day, you can find properties that get a discount. That's what I'm doing. That's what all the other experts are doing. Is we are looking for those unique situations where we can add value or help close a transaction because people got to move, whatever it is. So 2022 should be an exciting year. Should be an exciting year, but it is not permission not to do the work. All right, on with that. So now, after yesterday's hot inflation reading, 99% bet that the Fed raises rates 0.5 point in March. That went from 5% 3 or 4 short weeks ago to 25%, now to 99%. You've been following my channel. I've been telling you this has been coming for 3 or 4 months now. It's 24 basis point or 24% on Wednesday, for example. Now it is 99%. Something else to realize is the Fed has not done a 50 basis point move since 2000. They are generally the slow and gradual type. A 50 basis point move, generally speaking, is to shock the system. That's what they are trying to do. Citibank forecasts 50 basis point move. Bullard, Fed president, I think of St. Louis, is saying we need to get rates up 1 full percentage point by July. If you do the math, there's only 3 meetings between now and July. So that means one of those likely has to be 0.5 basis point, and the other 2 can be 1/4. We had some earnings that came out that we need to talk about. Most importantly for me is Zillow. Zillow's numbers came out, and I think Zillow's probably up today. They reported some decent numbers. But in my opinion, it's an ugly report. 1 second, sorry. I can't stand to have this little guy right here whining and crying because he wants to be on my lap. I'm sorry. So back to Zillow. If you don't know, Zillow got out of the house flipping business in Q4. I think it was November. It might have been October. And they had to sell about 15,000 homes. They sold 8,353 homes. Excuse me. They have on an expectation of 5,000. So they sold faster and they sold for more money. All of these sales count as revenue, folks. Count as revenue. They have about 10,000 homes left to sell. Now, Zillow comes out and says they have a revenue beat, an earnings beat. Folks, God, this is just like banks. Zillow would have created a reserve for losses in Q4. For example, I think we talked about Zillow estimating $500 billion loss. I don't remember what it was, but let's just say what it was. They take $500 billion, they absorb the loss in Q4. It's in their earnings, they report, they get beat by the market, it's gone. Now Q1 gets reported, or whatever quarter gets reported. And they're like, oh my God, we sold more homes and we made more money than we thought. So the bad debt reserve gets reversed, or it doesn't get used as much. So it artificially gooses the numbers. The problem with this, in my opinion, is it's not repeatable. Once Zillow sells the home faster and for more, it can't be repeated. I don't know. Some of these numbers, these accounting games that are played are slick and sneaky, but yeah, that's just not repeatable. So it's very, very, very interesting. Then there's Affirm Buy Now Pay Later. They inadvertently tweeted their results before the market closed. That's a good idea. Not a good idea. So whoops. And again, their guidance was weak, which thankfully I'm okay with. Right, buy now, pay later. We've talked about. Generally, it is a way for more consumers to get in trouble, which is not good. And buy now, pay later. I did some math for you on some courtside seats to Warriors games 4 or 5 months ago. The interest is just bananas. It's crazy. Expedia reported better than expected earnings, although they did miss top line. Top line equals revenue, bottom line equals earnings. But they did give an upbeat or generally upbeat forecast for spring and summer travel. One can only hope that we get this behind us. CEO of Coke came out and warned that consumers won't accept higher prices forever. This reminds me of something that I studied back in college called price elasticity and switching costs. For the last 40 years, we really haven't had to worry about it as consumers. Inflation, generally speaking, was bouncing around 2%. If you wanted, in this example, a Coke or a Pepsi or 7-Up or whatever it is, it didn't really matter. But now with input costs and seemingly price increases every quarter, it is becoming a real problem for families. We are entering a time like the 70s, and the 70s sucked. If you are young enough to not really remember the 70s, I would suggest talking to someone who lived it, where we had real inflation. It was, generally speaking, not an enjoyable decade. So if you've yet to experience it or you do not remember it, you are too young, do yourself a favor, call some people and see what the 70s were like. And I agree with the CEO of Coke. Inflation is going to squeeze the consumers just like it did my family in the late 70s and early 80s, where we had to make hard choices. This includes landlords. Landlords, hear me. We have seen rent increases like never before. Yesterday, I think we talked about rent increases being up an average of 14%, with some cities like Miami and others and Austin being up 30 or 40%. Don't get cocky. Rent increases could likely flatten out for years. We are absorbing or pulling forward rent increases, and in some cases making up for the last 2 years. Do not be arrogant. Do not build financial models that assume 5% rent increases for the next 5 years. That is an unwise and very unsafe. If we go into a recession, either a long or deep recession, landlords, be ready. So make wise financial decisions. Again, there's more and more articles coming out about inflation helping, right? Inflation is good. I think it is really odd that inflation is so bad that we have to create articles for who it helps. Well, here's a hint, folks. Inflation is good for homeowners. It is really good for landlords. If you own the asset with 30-year fixed rate debt, you are going to love this decade. If you are an employee, you are likely going to see your wages go up. I would suggest strongly that you aim for at least 10%. If your wages go up 5 and inflation is 7, you are going backwards. These are important things to think about. Next up, we have some bank stress tests that are about to happen at the 34 largest banks. 34 largest banks. You want to see the puppy, Nathan? Here you go. I've actually got Sunny on my lap. Happy as being a good girl sleeping in her bed way over there. She's nowhere close to me. I might grab her at the end since I have earbuds, but not yet. So banks stress test. This one freaked me out a little bit. The Fed is going to test the 34 largest banks. They are going to assume severe commercial real estate collapse, and they are going to assume corporate debt troubles. Both of these things I have warned you are coming, specifically decline in commercial real estate. Commercial real estate, I have talked to Jonathan Twombly, Anna Kelly, Greg Dickerson, all of the experts that have been doing this 20 plus years. The debt structure that I see in commercial real estate today is the same kind of toxic soup, short-term nonsense that homeowners were doing in 2006. It's bad, 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 bad. So the Fed is going to test 10% unemployment. I told you unemployment's going up this year. I don't think it's going to 10%, but it's going up. They are going to assume a recession that lasts upwards of 2 years. And here's the kicker, commercial real estate falls 40%. I could see it. Some of this debt structure, some of the business assumptions, some of you LPs and syndications, you are already lost your money and you don't know it yet. On to Goldman and Bank of America. Both organizations are forecasting 7 rate hikes this year. They assume it's going to be the slow and steady quarter point at the next 7 meetings. My opinion, as I've always said, if the Fed wants to save its reputation, it needs to shock the system. As I said yesterday, I am so convinced that half a point is the right answer in March. I now believe 75 basis points is more likely than a quarter. Think about that. Now, be clear, I'm not calling for 3 quarters. I'm not. I'm not. But I'm just saying a 3/4 point move is more likely than a quarter. If the Fed only does a quarter, this thing gets worse. Oh, worse. Under Armour beat top and bottom, another earnings that went through, but forecast supply chain issues remaining for much of the year and costs, shipping costs mainly. Lastly, Richmond and San Francisco Fed presidents are out this morning disputing St. Louis Fed Bullard from yesterday. Remember, Bullard said that rates are going to go up a half a point. They need to go up a point by July, all of those things. What they are now saying is we are not going to do a half. We're only going to do a quarter. What I believe is going on right now is the market assumes a half a point. And what the Fed wants to do is shock the system. If the system expects a half and they deliver a half, it's not shocked. So what I believe is going to be happening right now is all the Fed presidents, or at least many of them, are going to say, no, 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 only a quarter, only a quarter, only a quarter, only a quarter, data dependent, blah, 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 blah. And then they're going to deliver a half because I think the Fed realizes their reputation is on the line and they need to shock the system. We shall see. I saw that somebody replied that they disagree with me. They think it is going to be a quarter. Awesome. Nobody knows. But that's why we do these things. So I'm still on the bandwagon of a half. At this point, why would I get off? I've been talking about it for 4 months. But we will know in 5 short weeks. And interesting point, we actually do get one inflation reading between now and the next Fed meeting. So we'll see. If that one rolls over, maybe you're right. But it's not going to roll over. So, folks, have a wonderful day. We've got lots of phone calls today, lots of great videos coming. Have a wonderful day. Take care of yourself. Like, subscribe, comment. Keep being positive. Keep doing the work. Take care. Bye-bye.